Good to go.
All set.
Good. Call to order the Thursday, December 15th meeting of the Fire Station Building Committee to order at 5:31. Those present, Chief Seacar, Tim Sadler, Paul Blaisdell, John Silly, Kevin Waldron. And I guess the only thing on the agenda tonight is reviewing the proposals that we've received for the fire station construction. We've received two of them, one from Fulcrum and the other from Lurero. And yes, I'll open the discussion to comments on. I think the chief mentioned that he had read them pretty thoroughly, as have I. So I'll let the chief speak.
So I guess my first impression was, if you're going strictly by our scoring sheet, the information that you would need to properly score these companies is not necessarily totally included in the packages that they delivered. So in that respect, I'm a little bit disappointed. I think if I were developing a spec sheet, you know, a prospect, I would look at what they're using to score it by, and we clearly stated that in our RFQ.
Yeah, it was, they knew.
Yes, they knew, and I would have developed a package that correlated to what we were specifically looking for. I think it leaves a lot of questions that I would have to ask in an interview or follow-up communication of some sort as to, you know, experience, who specifically is going to be working on our project and things like that. I mean, they give leadership team and all that kind of stuff, but they don't say specifically who's our team, who's going to be designing our building, who's going to be our daily contact, what experience do these particular people have with previous fire station construction, when was the last time they built a fire station, if they, you know, they both have fire station experience, but they don't say when they were, you know, how long ago they were. And they both didn't seem to have, like one seemed to have a little bit more fire station experience than the other.
My impression was Fulcrum seemed to have more experience than Lurero or Lurero. Was that your impression?
Mine was exactly the opposite.
The opposite.
Yeah.
Because what I saw with Lurero was a lot of municipal experience, but not, there were only maybe 3 projects where they had fire station.
Sure, and when looking at actual fire station builds is what I was looking at, not just studies. So there were a lot more studies.
Oh, I got you.
And I was looking at, because, you know, how many studies have we done just here with no results?
Yeah.
You know, I wanted to see actual throughput.
Yeah, you can study something to death and
Yeah.
get nothing out of it.
That's right. So, so that's why I think I came with a different opinion than you did, Paul. But looking at both companies, I think either company could probably build a fire station. But then again, you know, I think there's still a lot of questions in my mind that I would like to ask them.
So what is our goal? Is our goal to determine a list of questions for each of the design-build companies and then submit them to them in writing and have them reply? Or is it to choose based upon, or score based upon the information we have now?
So in my discussion with Lisa today, she said, you know, she didn't really go over both of them fully because she didn't feel up to it. She said she was reading them and they were just like, nothing was registering because of how she was feeling. But she said the way it should work is that we should score them on what the information that we have. Then we'll come up with a score for each of them. Then we'll open up the fee proposals and score them accordingly to the fee proposals, then schedule the interviews with them, and that way you can ask them specific questions based on the information they provided and what information that we would, each individually would want to ask them the questions. That's what she thought the process should be.
Okay.
She also said that she's leaving on January 4th to go to Hawaii, but she will be back for a few weeks starting February 2nd.
Okay. So I think it's extremely wise to get Lisa involved in this conversation. Her expertise is invaluable to this group and to the community.
Sure.
So there's no way I would make any decision without conferring, getting her opinion and conferring with her. With that being said, has everyone had an opportunity to read these proposals before tonight?
I glanced through them quickly, but I certainly didn't read them.
Okay.
Page by page, no.
Nice tie, brother.
That's one of my Christmas ones.
Awesome.
I had brief plans today when I finally got them.
Okay. Well, I think it's imperative that each of us review these in detail,
I do too.
come up with our own questions, get Lisa involved, get her input. And you said she was leaving in January?
January 4th, third or 4th,
Okay.
and then she'll be back February 2nd.
So our goal is not to put something together by this March, it's next March.
A proposal to go before the voters by next March.
Okay.
Yes.
All right,
24.
Yes,
2024.
the following. 24.
So to pile on what Lisa has done as far as vacating the Northeast,
She said she would be willing to meet if we wanted to, the week between Christmas and New Year's.
So I'm in a similar situation. I'm leaving the day after Christmas to go to China.
I'm surprised to see you here, actually.
Yeah, I was able to postpone, rather than work through the holiday, I get to work after the holiday. And then I'll be leaving China to go to Thailand. I'll be returning from Thailand the 4th or 5th of February. So that
Same
kind of
time.
aligns
Same
with,
timeframe, yeah. What Lisa also suggested, and is that, we could go take these home, read them, you can score them individually, and then turn in your score sheet to Kathy. Kathy will then forward them to Lisa, who will combine it all to come up with a score, and then at some point, if that's the will of the committee, we can then open up the fee proposals.
well, there's so much of this design build process that is foreign to me. I would encourage Lisa's input prior to my scoring of the scorecard,
Sure.
so I better understand what I'm scoring.
When is Lisa back?
Same time here.
She's coming back, she said her plane lands either Manchester or Logan, probably Logan, February 2nd.
Okay, so she's only gone for a month.
Yeah. I don't know who I know if I will be back.
I'm perfectly happy doing a Teams meeting, 12-hour time difference. But, I'm happy to do that if it works for you guys, if it's beneficial.
Is there a downside to a second or third week of February meeting? Not
I don't
really,
think
right?
so.
No?
No, you just gotta be careful, you're getting into the final warrant articles, scrubbing, and all.
Okay.
That's a busy month. just February just tends to be busy with upcoming town meetings, fire district, school district, all that, and everyone's trying to get their last minute meetings in, so. But it's doable, it's just,
It's not like we haven't done it before, we have.
right, exactly, it can be done, it just might be
Hectic.
a little, yeah, a little bit of shifting of everything.
What about a meeting sometime in between the week of Christmas and New Year's?
I'm available.
I'm not.
You're not.
Right, I know you're not.
Yeah, I'd do it.
An option, and I don't know if that would be available to you in China, as we do record these, and we do put them on, the recording on our website. You could click on and watch it afterwards too. I don't know what your email situation is there either, or even
Yeah.
phone conversations. I don't know how that works in China.
Well, the whole firewall thing and
Yeah.
my ability to access the internet is going to be extremely limited by my company. So I'm not just getting on the internet and surfing, I'm going through VPNs and get on and get off. So
But you mentioned you could do a Zoom meeting,
I can
or
do,
Teams.
yeah, I can do Zoom or Teams on my phone.
Do we have the ability to do that here?
Yeah.
Zoom? Yeah, you can just do it from anyone's device.
Yeah.
really?
We have.
Yeah, I can do Zoom on this, so we could put it right here at the end and see the crowd.
We have, the fire district subscribes to Teams, so we have a team
I prefer Teams.
platform.
Okay.
Yeah, so I can do Teams. If I guess that the reason you're proposing that is with the assumption that Lisa would be up to it before she goes to the tropics.
Right. No, that's up to the board to decide whether it's that important that we move along that quickly or not.
I think it is a little bit, I'm not totally an expert on the design build either, but I definitely think I could take a shot from my opinion, based on what we built out for criteria. I think everyone could do that, because that would just be the draft one, and then, if you have a question, you can reach out to Lisa maybe to better understand it, and then we can then bring them in and based on, no, actually it means this. Then yes, I'm going to adjust to a final score from my perspective versus each person, and then they all come together afterwards.
So what you're saying is fill the scorecard out
Kind of as a draft.
and then meet with Lisa to review it, or meet with the,
As a team to, when we get back, then we'd at least have that.
okay. But meet and discuss it with Lisa before we meet the design build companies.
Oh, yeah, we'll meet before that part, yes.
I'm totally on board with that.
Yeah, because we can interpret it to our perspectives, and then we'll have a meeting or something where Lisa is present. It's like, well, actually, no, it means this. Oh, okay. Well, now that I'm familiar, and I was thinking that because of this, well, I can see having that 2 cents. It might adjust it up or down a plus or minus.
Sure.
But it's a step. We could probably at least keep going with the step forward of a draft, individual draft.
That way you have unvarnished opinions on your scorecard.
Yep.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, when I look at this, compared to what both companies presented, like just even you could take the first criteria where design, build, philosophy, and approach. Within the last 5 years, how many design, build projects did you do successfully? How many? Was it 1, 2, 12?
How many?
They don't really say.
How many out of how many opportunities?
Yeah.
Right.
Some of them might say, we had 4 projects using design build, we had 10 projects using construction management, and we had 2 projects at, bid proposed, through a bid proposal thing. Some companies only deal with one construction method, and other companies do all of them.
I mean, if you look at the request for proposal, the paragraph 6,
Yep.
section 6, the middle criteria, right? Here's A through H,
Yep.
right? They correspond with our process for selection criteria, scorecard, A through H. So it would seem that if I was to open one of these, I would be able to follow A through H.
Yeah, I think they do.
No, you gotta read between the lines.
Ah, it's those intricacies,
Yeah.
those nuances. That's where Lisa comes in.
Yeah.
So, all right, how do you feel about that?
I would be more than happy to spend some time reading this in the next week or two. And thinking about the scoring, I have the same, what are they saying?
Mm-hmm.
Are they very good, or are they just acceptable based on what they're giving you?
Right.
Seems a little bit subjective.
Definitely.
It's
Yeah.
very,
Okay.
very, not a little bit.
If this were, if I was applying for a grant and I submitted this, I would fully expect not to get it.
Okay.
Now, do we have, just a little side topic here, is there any concern that we only received 2?
Yeah, so we discussed that too. It's unfortunate that we only received 2.
Are we as a
if-
committee
if-
representing the taxpayers, is it fair to say that we move forward and we can say we've done our due diligence and only evaluating 2?
Well, we can't evaluate people, or companies that don't make proposals.
Right.
Yeah,
And the only way to try and get more is to reject these and put it out again. Which would,
We have to give due credit to the people that did attempt it, and maybe one does rise above the grain.
yeah, when I talked to Lisa about that, she's afraid that, every time we do this, we get fewer and fewer proposals because, for one reason or another.
Mhm.
And she's afraid that maybe we wouldn't get any next time, although we might get more too. And that's a judgment that, maybe the committee here could either make a recommendation to the commissioners to stand put or to make a recommendation to resubmit the RFQ, put it out to bid again.
I think we do owe
That's
due diligence to who submitted, though.
The problem you can end up with, and I think that's what you're alluding to, is I can tell you that in the past, the town of Northfield would go to bid for something, say a police cruiser. And we'd get, in the beginning, we'd get 7, 8, 10 of them. And then you'd buy one or not. And then the next time you got 4, 5, or 6. Every time you do something, if these people are not gonna spend the time that it takes to do all that work, when there's nothing ever comes of it for them.
And that may be why companies like Bonnet, Page and Stone, local companies have said pass.
Yeah.
Well, and I want the approach.
I thought they would be,
I always thought they would be
I
too.
thought they'd be in play, I really did.
Well, I'm just looking at it from the approach of the way we went about doing it as compared to if we had hired an architect who designed a building for us, and then our RFP was, what would it cost to build this building? Would more companies be interested because now they're not doing all this work in advance because it's already been done for them, and now they just have to they just have to bid on a building.
That's called the construction management process,
It's the-
where the entity hires an architect to design the building, and then you put that out to bid.
They do
I
cost.
mean,
Yeah.
this seems to me, when you compare the design build to construction management, it seems to me that this would be a better methodology for the construction side of it, because they're working with an architect they're familiar with, that they have a rapport with, rather than working with, you know, some guy around the corner.
So the really pro to that is exactly what you said. The con is that when you're using the construction company's architect, the construction company's architect favors the construction company, not the client, which would be us. Where if we hire the architect architect's working for us and not the contractor. And it's the contractor's responsibility to build whatever the architect designs for him.
So, yeah, so it's a trade-off, like any decision, right?
Right.
Kevin, how do you feel about, you know, back to the question of us independently doing the scorecard and then meeting afterwards? Are you,
I'm fine with that, but from what I've read of these, and looking at the below the box that says excellent, very good, adequate, I don't know how many very good or excellent we would
how many what?
have. How many very good or excellence we would have. Because it doesn't, so this is, in my mind, I see this and this should do this, should mesh.
Yeah.
And I see it doing this. It's not, doesn't float, there's no, it's hard to make sense out of this reading these. And I'll admit, I haven't read every single page, but some of the things was like, well, I'm not seeing that, I don't know. So,
A lot of it is fluff.
It is a lot fluff.
Yes.
A lot of it is like an advertisement.
yeah, it's like,
It's
here
like an
I am,
advertisement.
here I am, look at me, this is what we did.
Yeah.
That's mostly what I got from,
Mhm.
and I read more of Fulton than I did of, you know,
Yeah, that one I spent a little bit of time during the day on.
One of the other areas I guess I question is some of the information they provide, it's like they're using an architect or design firm behind them, and they might have fire station experience, but the contractor doesn't have, you know, didn't build all the same fire stations that they're listing in their
True.
their resume. And how does that play?
So in my experience, I think the architect is really more important than the contractor.
Yes.
And
Because they're gonna have the knowledge of
Yeah.
systems and all that. A
I've-
contractor can build, I mean,
so, you know,
I've been involved in a number of fire station projects back where I came from, and the architect was always the most important person, even through the process of the construction, because there's always questions that come up. And
Sure, he's the
architect-
backstop.
Yeah, oh yeah, and the architect was at every, you know, meeting all the way through the process, you know, during the construction phase, where we had a weekly meeting with the contractor, the architect, we sit down and do a progress meeting of where we are on the schedule, where we are on costs, what problems have come up, how we're gonna resolve those problems, and stay within budget and things like that. And I liked it. I actually enjoyed doing those meetings and things like that and being involved in it, because, you know, I'm always neck deep in that kind of stuff anyway, so.
All right, what do we suggest for the next step as a team here?
Well, I think everybody really should sit down and read these. And if you can, try and put some scoring to this. And I think we need to schedule another meeting to sit down and hope maybe the week between Christmas and New Year's, we can sit down and Lisa will be available to, you know, she's gonna do that as well. And after that meeting, if we're all cool with it, we can all submit them to Kathy, if not that night, you know, submit them to Kathy so that everybody has their say. We also have other members that aren't here tonight that need to do this as well.
yeah, everyone needs to kind of do it as a little bit of homework.
Yeah, I
Break them
talked,
both.
I talked to Derek before he went home today, and I told him, you know, I gave him homework to do.
Did you give him a copy of
And
these?
he's got everything that we have in front of us. The other thing that Kathy reminded me is that we have minutes to approve and make sure that we approve the minutes.
Yeah, she sent those out.
oh yes, from last meeting.
Yes.
Yeah, it has to go.
Okay, so, well, I'd like to put some finality to this discussion. So does everybody think it's wise to meet with Lisa involved during that week between Christmas and New Year's, and then schedule the next meeting for after February 4th?
I think that's a good idea.
Mhm.
All right, and I can contact Lisa tomorrow and find out when she's available, and then we'll put that, I can put that, have Kathy put that. on.
How flexible are you at 7 in the morning? No, 5
Yeah,
in the morning.
I'll make sure, I mean, I can pull away. I'll just tell them, look, this is how it is. The Thailand is not a problem, but the China one, I'll be the only one there, so it'll be a little more difficult to pull away, but I can just tell them, look, send a car at 9 o'clock in the morning instead of 7:30. So
You don't drive in China?
No, I don't drive in China, you kidding me?
Do they drive on the right side of the road or
They
left?
drive just like we do, just a lot crazier. Doesn't take much to get, well, actually, it's funny because in China, the economy has boomed so much in the past decade or so that middle-aged people who have never had a driver's license, never owned a car, now have one. So if you want to make money there, you want to teach English or you want to have a driving school, because the possibilities are endless. But the people that are driving cars now, the middle-aged people.
They're brand new.
Exactly,
No,
and they're
it's-
used to riding bicycles, and they don't even care where they went with a bicycle, they don't care where they go in a car. It is unbelievable. Sidewalk? Shh. I've been in a taxi before in Changsha, down the sidewalk. People coming down the stairs off the stoop in front of their apartment, diving. Wrong way on an entrance ramp onto a multi-level highway. Yeah, it's amazing. So, anyways.
And those
I'm
cars
not
have all the
driving.
latest safety equipment.
That doesn't sound fun or interesting.
No, it's horrible. And the thing is, you get into the cities, for us, New York City is a big city, 6.8 million people. That's a village in China. 27, 28 million people in the city. And you pull up to an intersection in Beijing or Shanghai or one of the largest cities, and there's like 7 lanes in each direction. And what they do is they stage, if you're turning right, they stage you in the center of the intersection. So there's like 3 lanes of cars that come out and park in the center of the intersection as other cars are turning in the other directions. And then, so there's a light in the middle, and those 3 lanes then take off. But you have ox carts, you have these like agricultural tire power units like the old Aarons, towing people with cardboard boxes tied on that are 12, I don't know how they get the boxes on them, they're so high. Driving in the street, you've got bicycles, you've got motorcycles, you've got mopeds. I mean, you name it, they're on the road, and everybody's trying to fight for the same place. It's unbelievable. And rules? What are rules?
They're just
Just say
suggestions.
the ambulance service must be very busy there.
Say it again?
And the ambulance and car accident and stuff, they must be very busy.
Yeah, but see, they don't have healthcare like we do. They don't have ambulances like we do. They have vans with a cot in the back, literally, like a canvas cot.
Stretcher.
Yeah. A stretcher. Yeah. Well, I guess what I'd like to do is put in my book a February meeting. So, what's the best day of the week for everyone?
Monday or Thursday. Sometimes Tuesday.
Tuesdays are no good for you.
Tuesday's no good.
How about Thursday the 9th?
Works for me right now. We're getting the first crack at it.
Does that happen to be the second Thursday of the month?
Yes.
The second is a Thursday, the 9th is a Thursday. I know I have a fire chiefs meeting, but I don't know if that's a morning or a night meeting. I have to go back and look at it. Well, we tentatively schedule it for the 9th.
5:30, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, and then Chief, I guess if you contact Lisa and find out what's good for her and send an email to everyone,
I will do that.
and that's gonna be,
Thursday the 29th, maybe,
Oh, for the other one, I'm
for
sorry.
the other one.
Okay, I'm like, huh?
so if we
The
do
29th of February?
December.
Oh, December.
December 29,
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking off the top of my head, because Thursday seems like a good day, because the 26th, the day after Christmas, I know I tentatively have that day off. But you don't need me to have a meeting.
oh, we value your input. I'd rather have a meeting with everyone here.
On Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday are fine for me that week.
About, is Thursday the 29th okay? So, 12-hour time difference, so if we have a 5:30 meeting, there's a good possibility there'll be a hot cup of coffee in front of my face.
That's okay.
That's
So-
fine.
Doesn't bother me.
We'll make sure we have a device set up to chime
And,
in through.
okay, yeah, and
Because
Chief,
I'll
I can
have
do it.
Kathy send like a Teams meeting
Yes.
invite.
okay,
Yep, and then I'll
So
make
we'll-
sure I have a charge on this so that we can have this at the end of the table to see you and vice versa.
really voice is the most important part.
Yeah.
The visual is not, unless there's gonna be some presentation. So you guys wanna shoot for 5:30 on that day too?
Yeah.
Unless you need it to be a half hour later for you.
Well, I don't wanna take up everyone's evenings. I think honestly, at that point.
Probably here.
Yeah,
Okay,
if not here, we can try for the police station.
okay.
That's more convenient to my house.
So the 29th at 5:30, Teams?
The only other thing that I want to make the committee aware of is that I'm probably going to have my hip surgery sometime in the winter, so I'm going to be out of commission for a little bit.
Okay.
You
I don't
do
know
that
how-
nowadays and you're up and about. in
That's
the
what I
next
hear.
day.
You walk out, you
Yeah,
literally
good,
walk
yeah,
out,
another
but-
season, you're dragging you down the hallway.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you're not
How's that
functional.
stairway at the police, at the fire station gonna be?
that's going to be probably difficult for the first couple of weeks. I may not be working for a couple of weeks.
But you're not scheduled yet.
Not scheduled.
Wow, did you get scheduled that quickly?
Depends on where you go.
What we're hoping for,
Do it
right?
in
Pocket
July. Why
orthopedics.
don't you do it in July?
No way.
Yeah, I know. We'll be chasing that little white thing around the grass.
That's right.
Okay, well, good luck with that.
Thank you.
Your replacement.
Yeah.
Yeah,
My brother's
Trying to
had,
give you the right ones,
hips.
so you don't end up walking in a circle.
Can do both at the same time?
No, they only do one at a time. And so the left one is really bad. The right one is manageable right now. So we'll wait till it's unmanageable and we'll get that done.
too much time in a hula skirt?
Yeah. I think too much time on the football field.
Oh, jeez. All right, so let's take a look at the minutes of 11:28. I've already read them, so.
I move to accept the minutes of meeting on November 28th.
Yeah, I'd second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? All right. Good. So, thank Beth for the
Did a good job.
transcription. Yeah, no
Yes.
kidding. Yeah, no question. Oh, I'll thank Beth. Thank you, Beth. All right, anything else you guys want to cover?
no, I want to be able to digest this and just take a shot at it and then have us all bring in, I think.
Yeah. I think that's the plan.
Yeah.
All right, something unrelated to the building committee. The Staper Committee is trying to put a report together for a district meeting. And one of the questions, and I'm helping the committee put together that report. And if you guys, as residents and citizens of the fire district, do you have any questions that you would like answered that we haven't really talked about, or any new questions. So if I know what those questions are, I can make sure that we have answers to them, so there are no surprise questions that we don't have answers to.
I think you should have a summation of how many secondary calls you were able to cover with this SAFER grant, where in the past you would have had to rely on mutual aid.
Yes.
So like a yearly summation, I know that's gonna take some Excel sheets and things like that, but that's gonna be a metric that will help the SAFER portion of it.
You give somewhat of that information in your monthly.
I do.
Chief report, yeah.
Yeah.
But people are gonna kind of ask, what was it for the year? So rather than going back to each one, having that number readily available is a step at, well, actually, it was this. It just helps to sell it a little bit better rather than, oh, wait a second, let me go, okay.
I think having that number is a given. I think also the important aspect is what revenue was drawn from that, and also what level of how we compare the mileage on the vehicles, pre-SAFER grant, or how many miles per year, how many calls, how many miles per call, or something like that. Because one of the things that's going to come up is, look, yeah, we're making more calls, we're generating more revenue, but we're beating our trucks up. So if we can have some idea of
I can probably give you like total mileages for both the ambulances over the course of the year. Although it has changed over the past few years. We're going to Concord a lot more due to the other hospitals' limitations.
sure.
So if that's going to skew the data saying, we're putting way more miles on than we were used to. But the fact is, yeah, we are. It's because of our hospital situation.
Do you track?
So I don't know if that's really something that I can.
But I'll take an ambulance driving on the highway 50 miles to, 1 mile down Sergeant Street in Northfield. I mean, it's different mileage.
Yeah, the difference in how, the condition of the roads.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Is any part of an ambulance bill mileage?
Oh yes.
And it's,
Every loaded mile is billable.
Oh,
I didn't know if they still did that.
Oh yes.
I didn't know they
absolutely.
did that. I
Yeah.
thought it was just services offered as ALS and BLS.
But do you,
And depending upon whether you're rural, super rural, or urban, is a different rate, Medicare reimbursement rate.
Didn't know that either.
Do we have, are you also able to tell how much faster the response time was as compared to if it was a mutual aid call?
Yes. So yes, I have that information, and basically, it's handling second or other simultaneous calls. What the response time, the response time to the first call hasn't changed.
Right.
That's pretty much the same. The response time to the second call are greater calls. If you take all simultaneous calls compared to the post-SAFER to pre-SAFER, we've gone down from 22 minutes to 7 minutes and change.
you said that was for the second calls
Second
and beyond?
and beyond. If you just take the second call, it's gone from 14 minutes to 7 minutes.
Mhm.
So, and our response to primary calls is around 6 minutes. So
That's all
that's
important
the
information.
the huge thing that I think is more important than anything. And we're, in regards to using mutual aid, we use it much less now compared to what we used to, and that's reflected in the revenue.
Sure.
Do all the mutual aid providers provide the same level of experience with their firefighters as our firefighters?
So pretty much, yes, that most of them have at least, well, what's happening in Franklin right now is that they're very stretched, very limited in their abilities. I don't know if they have, I think they have one paramedic left. They've lost a lot of personnel, and
Quit stealing
yeah, well, we stole some good ones.
Is that where ours have come from?
two of them have come from Franklin, but they also started here as well.
Right.
So,
Full circle.
yeah, we've taken them back. Belmont's losing a lot of folks right now too, so their level of what they're able to provide in experience level is a lot less. So right now, we're kind of like the cream of the crop right now.
So I mean, that's an important comment to make. You know, we're fully staffed and you have one paramedic per shift, right?
Yeah,
There's
at
one
least.
on all the time. That's important information. And that it's a safer grant that allowed us to do that, or that
Yeah.
helped us do that.
It helps us do that, yeah.
So, yeah, that's all really, really important. But there's always gonna be, yeah, so I think it's important to disseminate that information, not saying we're doing a better job or it's quicker, but have the actual data and keep in the back pocket how much, what the revenue is that we're drawing from it. That shouldn't be the primary focus,
No,
but
our
it's
revenue's,
certainly, the question's gonna come up.
our revenue's substantially up. And since we've already purchased all our major vehicles that we're gonna purchase within the next few years, our revenue, our apparatus and equipment revenue balance is just gonna keep going up until we buy another ambulance or another vehicle of some sort.
Sure. So you've got both ambulances and both engines right now, or just one engine?
Just one engine. I'm going on Monday to do the final inspection on the new engine one. If that passes our inspection, it'll be coming back on Wednesday. It has to get radios put in it and all that kind of stuff, then it's gotta go back to Dingy to be upfitted with, and all the tools are mounted.
Has to go back where?
To Dingy, and
Where's that?
that's in,
Charlestown,
no, it's some,
Newport, Centerton.
over that way.
it's over on the border of Vermont. I keep forgetting the name of this small teeny little town, that's south of Lebanon, begins with a C, I think.
Claremont?
No, it's not the.
Cornish.
Cornish, that's where it is.
Yeah, above Claremont, yep.
Yeah,
Where's the truck at now? Where are you going to?
it's in Ariel, PA, Pennsylvania,
PA, not
which is
Ohio.
near
Okay.
Schenectady, right off of 84.
Mhm.
So I'll be traveling out there on Monday with Captain Powell, and I'm picking up Larry Dingy on the way out. And Larry should be driving the truck back on Wednesday. On Friday, we plan to have both engines sitting side by side each other, making sure any final adjustments to one way or the other, and to make sure they're identical to operate and look and all that kind of stuff. And then on the over that weekend, all the hose will be coming off of engine 3, it'll come out of service. On the 27th, engine 3 will go to have the radios taken out of it. Then, the second that's done, the new engine 1 will have those radios put back in it. So we're not buying new radios for it, we're just transferring radios.
So we'll be down an engine for a week or so.
Probably 3 or 4 weeks, we'll be down an engine.
Okay.
But we've adjusted our run cards to increase an engine on the response to
Okay.
fires. Once the radio is installed, it's engine 3 will be traded in to Dingy, and engine 1 will go to Dingy to have all the tools mounted and any other equipment transferred. Once that's done, engine 1 will come back, we'll reload all the hose on it, and it'll be ready to go after a few days of training. And it shouldn't take much because the engines are identical, so they operate, they look exactly the same, other than the numbers on them. There are some minor differences, very, very minor differences, but,
So you're thinking March?
excuse me?
Thinking March in service?
No, I'm thinking January,
Okay.
And you have both ambulances now, too, right?
yes. Yeah.
I thought
And
we only
those
had
are
one.
identical as well,
Okay.
so.
I thought we only had one in service.
Oh, good. All right,
Where are we at with the water department?
No movement.
No movement. We had a status hearing in court last week, At some point, we're gonna have to pay the piper, I think, something. What that is, I think still is up in the air. I mean,
I'm open to discussion with them
Yeah,
on usage. I'm more than open to discussion on them because I think it's fair for usage. But they have to be willing to talk.
yeah, you should ask Commissioner Silva about those things. I'm just sort of like, whatever.
But yeah, we have not heard anything from them, and we're more than willing to talk with them.
Sounds like more of the same, just non-responsive.
Yes. Yeah. Very, absolutely that. Or through a lawyer. Give us this, or.
Yeah.
Is there anything else we need to discuss as a committee?
I don't think so. This part.
Now, are you gonna be able to pass this to Matt?
Yes.
6:17,
Thank you.
You're welcome.
we are adjourned at 6:17.
Aye.
Good.
Hopefully the high school still has